All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's been out for just about 2 days now. I've clocked in about 14 hours. And I just been some things going around on the internet, and I just thought I'd talk about it, give, my own review. I mean, I I work a 9 to 5. I play video games on my free time. If I'm not working, I'm fishing or playing video games, right? So who more than just an ordinary guy to get your review from? But that's beside the point. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean, so far, I've personally been having a ton of fun in the game. Of course, there's some things I don't really agree with, or maybe I dislike. In the game, there's like these points where you have to meditate, and during this meditation, you have a flashback. And if it was just a flashback, it'd be fine. But there are whole missions in the flashback, and I just don't. I don't like that. I don't know. It's I really, really don't like doing a whole mission in a flashback when I could just be doing missions in real time. If that makes sense, right? If they wanted me to do something in the past, just had me do it in the beginning. Like even if the first 5 hours of the game was prologue at beginning and then after now a couple years later, that's fine. But scattered throughout the map there's these meditation points and same thing. And it's just not it's not for me. It's not for me. Another thing that I don't really necessarily agree with is there's like an item shop, like a Call of Duty style item shop in the game, and you get skins for your character, skins for pretty much anything. Your mount, your character, Yasuke, characters that are gonna be inside your hideout, which is a thing in the game. You can like pretty much build a base, Clash of Clans style, in the game, which is kind of funny within itself. But the Call of Duty style item shop is not. I don't know. It's a single player game. Dragon's Dogma 2 got a lot of heat for having something similar, but with Dragon's Dogma 2 is just about everything you were able to buy with real money. You could just earn in game. Just play the game and you'll earn it. And I know in Assassin's Creed it's not like that. Odyssey, I know Odyssey because that's the one I played the most. Had like not necessarily the same system, but they had you could buy weapon skins or armor pieces for your character, and they're all going to be legendary and have some pretty nice abilities. Of course, you could explore the world, go through the game, and you're going to be able to find legendary armor pieces and weapons that'll have some pretty neat abilities as well. But it kind of it's a single player game. Why are we adding an item shop into a single player game? Like if it were like Destiny 2, how like there's like a hub where everyone is there and you can like see your armor and stuff like that, and then cool. Monster Hunter Wilds has Monster Hunter Wilds, there isn't even like maybe there's like a few pieces of armor that you get when you get the deluxe edition. But other than that, you're playing and grinding for your armor. And you have the hub area. Like, bro, Ubisoft, come on. Come on. Now that we're on the topic of the store, in the store there's like a map pack. And last night I I was really really curious on what this map pack did. It said it unlocked like not unlocked but like showed things on the map. But I was very curious on what it showed. So I scoured the internet, couldn't find it at all. Couldn't find it at all. Seemed like no one bought it. So, it was $10. $10 to someone is $10. But, I kind of said, nah, I got the 10 extra bucks, sure. I don't mind. Just out of curiosity to see what it was. And quite literally, what it does is instead of having to explore the map to see undiscovered locations or your synchronization spots, it pretty much shows you where they're at. You still have to go unlock them and discover them, but you know where to go. And it does the same thing for like the meditation areas or the places where you have to go pray, collect, paper, stuff like that. And that one right there is like, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And that brings me to another part. This isn't something I necessarily dislike, but I've seen a lot of people talking about it on the internet, especially on Twitter, and it's this battle pass. It's not it's a battle pass, but it's free, right? And so the way it works is throughout the game, You have daily and weekly quests, and by doing these quests, you get these things called data fragments. I believe you could also just find them around the world, and with these fragments, you pretty much it's like it's like XP towards the battle pass. Collect X amount, you unlock a tier, and some of the tiers have a different currency, which is used for another item shop in the game, separate from the one where you're spending actual money, actual real life doubloons. These are called, I think they're called keys or something like that, and essentially you could buy, mount, skin for your mount, armor pieces, weapon pieces, same thing, stuff for your hideout, which I think the hideout to me is very interesting because again, it's like Clash of Clans style. It's like Clash of Clans style. You could build around it and stuff like that. It's really cool. I'm only 14 hours in. So far, I'm enjoying it, but there's some aspects of the game I'm like, I don't. I'm I'm curious. I'm curious. I'll have to mess around with it more to see how I really feel about it. But those are probably the few. Oh, another thing, the voice acting. What it seems like is for the characters that really matter to the story. The voice acting is fine. Don't really have any complaints about it. But if it's just like a side character, the voice acting's horrible. It's just horrible, right? It's horrible. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just switching from English to Japanese audio, which I think it sounds so much better. It is a Japanese game, so well, it's the game is set in feudal Japan, right? Whether Ubisoft is a Western or a Japanese type company, owned company, I'm not too sure, but I'm I think we English is one of those languages that is very it's a very popular language, so I'm not too sure why it wouldn't be up there with okay, let's put a little more effort into the voice acting for English. Obviously for Japanese and maybe for some other Asian, other Asian languages, but I think definitely English and Japan should have been the ones where effort was put in. And you could definitely tell that it's that way with the Japanese audio, but with the English, there's moments where like, okay, I could have done better. I could have done for free. I could have done better for free, right? But I think other than that, that's probably about it. There's not much else I really have to complain about. I mean, there's some things I'm like, this could have been done better, like the mount system, the horse. It's okay. It's not horrible. I don't think there's definitely older games that do the mount system better. I think Red Dead Redemption 2, great mount system. You know, but that's also a game where you're spending a real good amount of time on your mount. Assassin's Creed is not like that. You could honestly walk if you want. If you have all your synchronization areas unlocked, you could get around the world just fine. And the world, we're gonna go and start getting into the pros here. The world is quite literally massive, massive. It's still massive. It's last night I had to go do a mission way off yonder. I'll go and whatever I'm talking about. I'll try and make sure it's on screen. But it's it's massive. The map is massive, and it took me like 15 minutes to get from like the beginning area to an area where it's like level 18 required or something. And it took me a minute to get there. Maybe it took me 15 minutes, maybe like 25 if you count all the times I stopped to go to a synchronization point, undiscovered location, or something like that. Which is kind of me personally. I don't mind. I think that's awesome that the map is that massive. What I hope this game has that I haven't. I'm doing my best not to watch like YouTube videos on the game. Kind of just trying to do everything on my own. But in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I think in Valhalla, I'm not too sure about Valhalla, so don't quote me. But I know in previous Assassin's Creeds, especially the ones that deal with like ancient mythology, like you have your ancient Egypt, Greece, your Viking era, and around the world you'll find like a boss. In Odyssey, you have the Cyclops. You have a ton of cool bosses in Odyssey. Not a ton. You have a few cool bosses in Odyssey that follow that ancient mythology, that ancient Greek mythology, lore. And I hope we see something like that in Shadows. I think that'd be pretty cool. Something I've loved about Assassin's Creed pretty much since Origins, and the other ones are nice too. They're cool, But my favorite Assassin's Creeds are Origins and Odyssey. Valhalla, I played for like 20 minutes and I wasn't really enjoying it, so I stopped. Right, I think once Valhalla came out, I was like, all right, this is obviously a copy and paste. Not sure what we're doing here, but doesn't feel as fun as the previous ones. But being able to see those like ancient mythology bosses was really cool in Odyssey. And again, I hope it's something we see in Shadows, maybe come DLC time, or just in general, right? But again, map's huge. Graphically, the game looks amazing. Ubisoft again does a really good job in capturing that ancient era, and that's something I'll admit, I'll say it. I love the way they capture ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and even Valhalla. Although I didn't play much, it seemed like they did a pretty good job in capturing that Viking era, right? And Shadows, same thing. They do a good job in capturing feudal Japan. I love history. I studied history in university, so being able to it's almost like playing a simulator of walking through these places. It's really cool. Is it one to one? No, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. Something else I do want to talk about. This isn't a pro, nor really a con, but the enemies so far that I've seen. 14 hours in the game, the enemies I've seen so far are pretty stale. After the first few hours, it gets, I don't want to say repetitive, but your enemies have you're gonna have some that have different types of weapons. You have your katanas. You have one that's like a sickle and like a metal ball attached to a chain. You're gonna have enemies with dual blades. You're gonna have one that has a one mini blade and like a fan. It's not a fan. It honestly, when I first seen it, it looks like Madara, and he has that this big old thing. I'll go and put it up on the screen, but it looks like that. And it's just you have your spears, bows, muskets, dual sided spears, I guess, and that's pretty much all the weapons I've seen so far. Oh, you have your like blunt weapons, so like your big old bats with spikes on them, and those enemies all have the same moveset. They're gonna run up to you, lift their sword up, come down. You can parry. If you don't parry that, they're gonna come from the right side. You can parry that, and if you don't parry that, they're gonna come from the left side. Right? It's like a three attack combo. Bows, muskets, I think are a little bit annoying, especially when you find yourself like surrounded. I think not fun to have to deal with up close battle, up close enemies, and have enemies from afar sniping you with muskets and bows. Which, to be honest, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I honestly just found out while playing the game that they had muskets during that time. Apparently, they were made in what I think it was 1000 AD. Very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, that's something I think like just the enemy system was a little bit stale, a little bit stale. The story so far I think is okay. It's not great. It's not bad, but I don't mind it if that makes sense. I think like I said, I'm 14 hours in. Maybe there could be some crazy turnaround, but look, look. In Odyssey, you're at a certain point in the story, you have to hunt down these masked men that are part of a cult. Hunt them down, kill them, gather information to get you closer to the leader. That is pretty much what I'm doing right now in Shadows. Except, spoiler alert, I'm hunting down people who killed my father, and I have to hunt down people who work for those people, right? So it's very, again, when it's something like this, it's very clear, like, oh, this this is quite literally a copy and paste of previous Assassin's Creeds, and I can see why Ubisoft gets hate and the game gets hate. I think some of the hate is a little undeserved. Again, I seen a ton of people complaining about the battle pass system, which it's free. So I'm not entirely too sure what the complaint is for, right? Quite literally, just play the game, and you'll odds are you're gonna unlock a couple hundred, maybe even a couple thousand data fragments. happened to me last night. I was literally just exploring the world, killing, collecting some synchronization points, trying to go as far into the map as I could, and I wound up collecting maybe like 1,400 data fragment points by accident. So I don't see the complaint with that. Same thing with the item shop that uses the keys, because the keys can only be, I think, can only be gotten from the battle pass. So again, I'm not too sure why people are so frustrated on that. I think what it is, I think a lot of people kind of just hating, just to hate, and of course people can have their own opinions, right? I could honestly care less. People could have their own opinions, same way as I have mine. But I think it's okay to give credit where credit's due. I think the game definitely isn't going to be winning any awards. Definitely not Game of the Year, at least, right? But it's not bad. It's a good game. If you like Assassin's Creed, odds are you're going to like this one. Also, I gotta touch on one more thing. I've been seeing a lot of people say if you played Ghost of Tsushima, don't bother playing AC Shadows. I hate that argument so much. If you played Black Ops 1, don't bother playing Modern Warfare 3, right? If you played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, don't bother playing Elden Ring, right? I don't agree with if you played Ghost of Tsushima, don't play AC Shadows. So those people who say that if you play Ghost of Tsushima, don't play Ghost of Yote because odds are it's going to be the same thing, different character, right? It's I just can't stand that argument. It's goofy. It's goofy. But again, the game's not going to be winning any awards, but it's also not horrible. It's a good game. I'm enjoying it so far. Doesn't feel like I'm forcing myself to play it. I'm enjoying my time in it, and if I had to rate it on the boom meter or just out of 10, I'll give it a 7. Um, could be a 6, but I don't think it's an 8. So I think 7 is a nice spot, right? And some people could say for Ubisoft this game needed to be a 9 or a 10. It's not. It's not. It's not. But yeah, yeah. That's about it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.